Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Nashkiltaeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Nestiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, The Lord in the Heart, text number 32. Shukdev Goswami is further speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. Ete shrutite nritaveta gite tvayabhiprishte sanatane cha ye vaipura brahman ahatushta aradhito bhagwan vasudevaha. In the previous verse he had said, the purified soul can attain the perfection of associating with the personality of constitution state. Whoever is able to renovate such devotional perfection is never again attracted by this material world, and he never returns. Means once who goes back to the spiritual world, never comes back to this material world. And now Shukdev Goswami is saying, Your Majesty Maharaj Parikshit, no all I have described in reply to your proper inquiry is just according to this was described or satisfied about being properly worshipped. So even Shukdev Goswami, although he is such a realized soul, son of Vyasdev, and he is the speaker of Bhagavatam, sitting on the asana, and in the audience, Narad Muni, Ved, Vyas, and all is not making up, no speculation, no making up. Means he is speaking whatever is in the scriptures. Of course, he has his own realizations, that's a different story. But he is not speaking anything that's not in the Vedas. That is very important for a guru to be, for a preacher to be. He should not make up his own stories or make up his own teachings, whatever is in the Vedas. And then he says, and it's an eternal truth. Eternal. Eternal means no beginning, no end. So whatever is in the Vedas is eternally true. Here, according to our conditioning, we might not be able to take it properly. That's a different story. But whatever is in the Vedas is eternally true. But the two different ways of reaching the spiritual sky and thereby getting away from all material bondage, namely either the direct process reaching the higher planets of the universe, are set forth exactly according to the version of the Vedas. Two different paths. One is going directly, which is Bhakti Yoga, which is Karma and Jnana process. But they are set forth exactly according to the version of the Vedas. Everything is given in the Vedas. Those who are free from all material desires, which are diseases in the heart, conquer death and enter the kingdom of God through the archery planets. These Vedic versions corroborate the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Supreme Vasudeva to Brahma, the first authority on the Vedas. The disciplic succession holds that the Vedas were uttered by Lord Krishna to Brahma, by Brahma to Narad, and by Narad to Vyasadeva, and then by Vyasadeva to Shukdev Goswami, and so on. So there is no difference eternal, and as such, there cannot be any opinion about the truth. That is a way of knowing the knowledge contained in the Vedas. It's not a thing to be understood by one's erudite scholarship or by the fashionable interpretations of mundane scholars. There is nothing to be added and nothing to be said. One has to accept, after all, some authority. So basically, Prabhupada is saying these Vedas, this knowledge of the Vedas, cannot be understood by erudite scholarship, just by studying, just by having a knowledge of Sanskrit and by studying the Vedas. One cannot understand. One has to learn it from a bona fide guru who comes in discipline succession. Then one can understand. The modern scientists are also authorities for the common man for some scientific truths. The common man follows the version of the scientist. This means that the common man follows authority. The Vedic knowledge is also received in that way. The common man cannot argue about what is beyond the sky or beyond the universe. He must accept the version of the Vedas as they are understood by the authorized disciplic succession. In the Bhagavad Gita also, the same process of understanding the Gita is stated in the 4th chapter. If one does not follow the authoritative version of the Acharyas, he will vainly search after the truth mentioned in the Vedas. So to understand Vedas, one has to follow an authority, a bona fide spiritual authority. Then he can understand Vedas. Otherwise, the Vedas, Vedic truth, it's very difficult to understand. Many times people argue, oh, why should I blindly accept whatever you are saying? They argue, and they have a right to argue actually. Well, there are two things to understand. First is faith. Faith is required. Even in the material world, we have to have faith. To learn anything, we need to have faith. Then the learning process starts. Even if we go to college or suppose we are in the school and we go to chemistry class and the teacher says, if you add NaOH plus HCl, you'll get NaCl plus H2O. Now, how many of us have really seen this NaOH and HCl? And we just get some powder and some chemical in a jar, and they say it is HCl, this is sodium hydroxide, NaOH. And we believe it. We never question them. And if the book says if you combine them, you will get NaCl, which is salt, plus H2O, water. You get salty water. We believe it. Of course, then we can go in the lab and add the two chemicals together under the proper conditions, room temperature or whatever, and then we can do the chemical analysis of the results, and then we can say, oh yeah, this is truth. But the beginning was on faith. Beginning is always with faith. Even if we have to prove some mathematical theorem, if it is true or false, we always start with suppose A equal to B. And then we go through the whole theorem, whole procedure, and in the end it is proved that A is equal to B. It always starts with some faith. Every knowledge. So why not have faith in the words of Vedas? Start with that. But people don't want it. So even if they don't want to do that, they say, oh, I cannot have blind faith in the Vedas. Then, like Prabhupada also told that to somebody, at least don't reject it blindly. Even if you don't want to accept it blindly, don't reject it blindly. Try it out. If you still don't like it, then you can say, okay, I don't like it. But those who are really against it, or it's also true that if they don't have that sukriti, then they will not come into the process of bhakti. That sukriti is very much required. Of course, devotees try to make the sukriti of others. They try to induce the sukriti by many methods, by giving them prashadam, if they accept prashadam, or by taking some donation from them and utilizing the donation as service of Krishna, they get some sukriti. There are many ways. So once they have enough sukriti, then they themselves will come and accept. But devotees are so magnanimous, so compassionate, they still keep on trying, even if they get rejected, because they know ultimately they're not doing it for themselves, they're doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. So devotees keep on trying, keep on giving them the sukriti, so they come to the path. But from their perspective, they say, oh, I don't have faith. Why should I blindly accept the teachings of Vedas? Who knows who has written these books and this and that? They'll argue to the utmost degree. But just devotees, by their behavior, by their compassionate nature, by their loving, caring heart, by their gratefulness, they change the heart of these people. Like Srila Prabhupada did, and we follow the example of Prabhupada, and then we also try to preach that way. So the idea in preaching is, if somebody cannot take up the process of bhakti, at least let's not make him against the principles of bhakti or against the movement of Srila Prabhupada. At least let's try to do that much. Let's not make him go against it. At least make him a well-wisher. If not well-wisher, at least let him be neutral. So that's a trick of preaching. But just like here we are reading, Shukdev Goswami is also following the Vedas. He says, whatever is in the Vedas, this is what I'm telling you. Text 33. Nahi ato anya shiva pantha vishitam sansrita viham vasudeva bhagavati bhakti yoga yato bhavet. For those who are wandering the material universe, there is no more auspicious means of deliverance than what is aimed at in the direct devotion service of Lord Krishna. So previously, Shukdev Goswami spoke about universal form, spoke about meditating on the universal form, but finally the truth is coming out. It's all about the devotion. Directly it is said, Bhakti Yoga Yato Bhavet. Bhakti Yoga is clearly talking about Bhakti Yoga. So that is why it is said, where Srimad Bhagavatam ends, where Bhagavad Gita ends, Bhagavatam starts from that point on. So Bhagavad Gita ended where Krishna said, Sarva Dharman Parite Mamekam devotee. Here it's starting. Shukdev Goswami is starting from that. For those who are wandering in the material universe, there is no more auspicious means of deliverance than what is aimed at in the direct devotional service of Lord Krishna. So this is the most auspicious means of deliverance. As will be clarified in the next verse, devotional service or direct bhakti yoga is the only absolute and auspicious means of deliverance from the grip of material existence. There are many indirect methods for deliverance from the clutches of material existence, but none of them is as easy and as auspicious as bhakti yoga. The means of jnana and yoga and other allied disciplines are not independent in delivering a performer. Such activities help one to reach the stage of bhakti yoga after many, many years. So, see, Prabhupada writes, such activities, means jnana and yoga, help one to reach the stage of bhakti yoga after many, many years, or many times that it's many, many lifetimes. So that's why we have to understand Prabhupada's purpose. Means, like many times people argue, oh, all the paths lead to the same goal. People say that. Now we have to see who is saying that. It depends. It's that's the art of preaching. Is somebody who is very forceful, very adamant. So you say, yeah, yes, all the paths lead to the same goal. Of course, in our heart, we know this, that they will lead to the same goal, but that is going very indirect way. And it's a long path. By taking the path of Gyan or Karm Kand or Hatha Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, it's a long and very torturous path. The direct path is Bhakti Yoga, as mentioned in Bhagavatam. But if somebody is so adamant, you say, yes, at least stay on that path, whatever path he has taken. And then he becomes favorable also, then it's easier for him. But if he, and moreover, of course, we have seen the videos of Prabhupada, how Prabhupada used to preach, how Prabhupada used to talk to different people. But we cannot imitate Srila Prabhupada's way of preaching. He was a pure, very pure soul, completely pure. And so even if he would chastise somebody, even he would, yes, basically um, called people rascals. In every lecture, he would call people rascals. People would still follow him. They would still love him. They understood in their heart, Prabhupada is our best well-wisher, even if he's calling us rascal. If I start calling everybody rascal in this class, how many of you will show up tomorrow? Hardly anybody. Because I don't have that potency. I don't have that kind of purity. I don't have that kind of realization. I don't have that kind of compassion like Srila Prabhupada had. So we cannot imitate Prabhupada. When Prabhupada said, no, you'll go to hell if you follow the other path, which is fine. He can say so, but we cannot. So we have to understand our position and act accordingly. And here Prabhupada himself is writing, such activities help one to reach the stage of Bhakti Yoga after many, many years. And it could be many, many lifetimes. That's okay. In the Bhagavad Gita 12.5, it is said that those who are attached to the impersonal feature of the Absolute are liable to many troubles in the pursuit of the desired goal, and the empiricist philosophers, searching after the Absolute Truth, realize the importance of Vasudeva realization as all in all after many, many births. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanvan mam prabhadati. Bahunam, after many, many births. Amongst the mystics who pursue the absolute truth, the one who is always engaged in the service of the Lord is the greatest of all. And the last instruction in Bhagavad Gita advises fully surrendering unto the Lord, leaving aside all other engagements or different processes for self-realization and liberation from material bondage. And the purport of all Vedic literature is to induce one to accept that in service of the end, expression of Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga, or the means which ultimately culminate in Bhakti Yoga, constitute the highest form of religion. Everything else is simply a wastage of time. Srila Sridhar Swami and all other acharyas like Jiva Goswami agree that Bhakti Yoga is not only easy, simple, natural, and free from trouble, but is the only source of happiness for the human being. So we know the final word of the Vedas, we know the perfection of life. It just we have to follow it and try to preach to others. That's all. Text 34. Bhagwan Brahma Karchneena Triranvikshya Manisha Tadhyavasya Kutastho Ratiratmanyato Bhave. The great personality Brahma, with great attention and concentration of the mind, studied the Vedas 3 times, and after scrutinizingly examining them, he ascertained that attraction for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the highest perfection of religion. So Brahmaji himself, with great attention and concentration of mind, studied the Vedas 3 times. Of course, when Brahmaji was doing all this tapasya and meditation, they were not Vedas who were written in the book form. The Vedas are there in the instruction form. So he has studied the Vedas means he pondered over, he meditated upon the instructions of Vedas. And throughout all the Vedas, 3 times he pondered over. And then he came to the conclusion that attraction for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the highest perfection of religion. There's nothing else. Sri Shukdev Goswami is referring to the highest Vedic authority, Lord Brahma, who is qualitative incarnation of Godhead. Means he is Gunavatar. Gunavatar for the mode of passion. The Vedas were taught to Brahmaji in the beginning of the material creation. Although Brahmaji was to hear Vedic instructions directly from the personality of Godhead, in order to satisfy the inquisitiveness of all prospective students of the Vedas, Brahmaji, just like a scholar, studied the Vedas 3 times, as generally done by all scholars. He studied with great attention, concentrating on the purpose of the Vedas, and after scrutinizingly examining the whole process, he ascertained that becoming a pure, unalloyed devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the topmost perfection of all religious principles. And this is the last instruction of the Bhagavad Gita, directly presented by the Personality of Godhead. The Vedic conclusion is thus accepted by all acharyas, and those who are against this conclusion are only Vedavadaratas, as explained in Bhagavad Gita. So Vedavadarata means they keep on uttering the Vedic literature, Vedic shlokas, but they don't know the purpose of the Vedic Vedas. And here Brahmaji is coming to this conclusion. And this conclusion is given actually by Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita. And he says, Vedesha Sarver Ahamev Vedya, Vedantrit Vedvedya. By all the Vedas, Krishna says in Gita, I am to be known. Means that he is the final word, conclusion, perfection of Vedas, to know Krishna, not just to know, to serve him. That is the real conclusion of the Vedas also. So the studies of Veda and understanding or realizing the truth of the Vedas is to serve Krishna. And here Prabhupada saying the becoming a pure, unalloyed devotee of Shri Krishna is topmost perfection of all religious principles. Bhagwan sarva bhuteshu lakshita svatmana harihi drishyar buddhya adibhir drishta lakshanar anumapakah. The personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, is in every living being along with the individual soul. And this fact is perceived and hypothesized in our acts of seeing and taking help from the intelligence. The general argument of the common man is that since the Lord is not visible to our eyes, how can one either surrender unto him or render transcendental loving service unto him? To such a common man, here is a practical suggestion given by Srila Shukdev Goswami as to how one can perceive the Supreme Lord by reason and perception. Actually, the Lord is not perceivable by our present materialized senses. But when one is convinced of the presence of the Lord by a practical service attitude. That is a revelation by the Lord's mercy. And such a pure devotee of the Lord can perceive the Lord's presence always and everywhere. So Lord is there, his presence has to be perceived. And only a pure devotee can perceive his presence everywhere. It's a long purport and I'm out of time actually. Maybe we can take it up tomorrow because it's a long purport and very important purport. So I'll stop here. We'll take it up from this verse tomorrow onwards. And see, anybody have any questions or comments? So
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, one question, not sure whether it's appropriate or not. Tell me, Prabhuji, this yoga, in fact, I don't know whether we call it Ashtanga yoga or whatever yoga. In fact, normally when we see people in the morning at parks and open spaces doing yoga, so the Ashtanga yoga. So how does it lead to, eventually after many, many years, it leads to devotional service? Because, in fact, I don't know whether I've observed it correctly or if I've observed right people or no, but most of the time, in fact, the pursuit is kind of fitness of the body or the concentration is something else. So, how they eventually bend it towards bhakti?
Actually, it is Ashtanga Yoga, means eight angas, 8 steps are there. The one what you see is Yoga Asana. It's not even full yoga yet. So it has 8 steps. Yam, Niyam, Asan. Asan is this yoga asan. Then Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pratyahar, Pranayam. There is one more. Then Dharan, Dhyan, Samadhi. I think most of Mataji can tell you better. So these are the 8 steps. Then when ultimately it should come to the Samadhi level. And Samadhi, Krishna says, Samadhi means one has to meditate upon me. So once somebody even comes to that level, which is very difficult, but uh, starting with even dharan means to start accepting or meditating upon Krishna slowly. It is possible. At least they come out of this conception of the body. I'm this body. They come to the level of I'm spirit soul. So that is very important. And hopefully, if they have done some sukriti at that time, they can come in contact with the devotee. And moreover, they are very much purified by then. So they are not in a bodily concept of life. So they can take up the process of bhakti easily. So yogasanas are good to keep the body fit, but keep the body fit for what purpose? That is more important. So which they are not taught actually. But hopefully, one of these lifetimes, maybe in the previous many lifetimes, we have also done that. Now, by Krishna's mercy, or Prabhupada's mercy, we are in the process of bhakti, in the path of bhakti. So they can also slowly. And if you see people doing yogas and at you can tell them to chant Hare Krishna along with pranayama. When they're breathing in, they can chant Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, they will beat me up. I should rather tell them focus on BJP or Congress, not on. Beat me in the past.
That's okay. At least one thing I know that nobody hates prasadam. Everybody
Yes.
loves prasad. So nothing else, and give them some prasada. Anything, whatever little bit. That always works.
True, Prabhuji. Agreed. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So I guess we can stop here. So tomorrow we'll take up from this verse only. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.